Okay. I guess I can turn it. Okay. So I'm back. I was just streaming, if anyone noticed, and I on the stream, and now I'm back. Okay. So for reasons of displaying and things. So I will be receiving this Shaligram in the next month or so. It disappeared. I was talking to the vendor, Mangalam Jewelry, who most of these Shaligrams are from. And he asked me if I wanted this because I kind of do. I kind of want this because it's epic. But I was like, well, I was also thinking about this one. And I asked if he still had it because it was gone. And I was like, oh shit, it's gone. Oh no, it's gone. This one has been on my radar for like... Maybe I should be a little careful. This like start and stop thing. Maybe not. Not with that many on it. Not with what I did. I stacked this it's coated in Shaligrams. Shit, right now. Okay. So I'll be receiving this one. What's exciting about it is it proves ammonites and many fossils are so-called fossils and are not actually fossils, but specifically in this case ammonites. The other ones, it basically opens the door to and demonstrates as well when those other details are considered. But this one, in and of itself, disproves the interpretation that ammonites are fossils. It's so amazing. There's many Shaligrams that do it, but it does it in a simple way that's very straightforward. And maybe I can go into it. I talk about it a lot, but this is probably a good angle. Like, do I got some freaking gambling website winning or poker hand or something on there? Don't mind the mess you can't see, but can kind of maybe hear. I don't know. Okay. So we can see over here the ammonite structure. Like if we go to this one, it's clear. And if we go to this, like this is ammonite structure over here. So just to go from there and then down this way, a boundary, and then we see like a boundary here, which if I more specifically draw them, a boundary here that goes generally like up to there and maybe like this, but more, or maybe there, but there's something going on. It's a little bit maybe down, but like it's going across up there. And then there. Again, like across there too. So that these little details like this, like here, this area is another element that's unrelated to what I'm talking about in essence, but related because it's all caused by the same process of water currents flowing in patterns that are cosmic, universal, fractal, and revealing. So we see this continue. We can see up here there's a boundary. Here there's a boundary. And then it's kind of hard to tell what's going on. And then the bottom one doing the same thing. Alright, and then again there's something like it goes up too. Up, down. This has some interesting thing going on. So it is my contention that this ammonite, this Shaligram, demonstratively proves ammonites are not fossils because the ammonite, which clearly like spirals from here outward, has this component here, like this is part of it in here, that then goes upward along this portion to like be this shape as an ammonite is, but it is like in here contained at a smaller level there. And then, like, there's an internal structure here of the ammonite, like the earlier portion of the spiral is visible. This portion is, say, eroded away, and this portion has material that filled it to retain the details of the supposed fossil that then just has this kind of shape. And the layers too. In terms of its imprinting the matrix, so this here is matrix, which is not ammonite. And then the same matrix. Whereas over here is ammonite. Like this whole region is the ammonite structure through here. Okay, the point is, this region of the ammonite doesn't actually make sense. So it spirals in. So if we follow the spiral, it starting from here. Follow it around. It spirals around. It goes in here, and then missing piece, say, of the ammonite, if there is such a creature, is here. That then spirals into the central region that then was fossilized in the stone by being trapped in this matrix and then eroded later on to then just happen to be like it is. But that would mean that the region of over here would have to be imprinting the stone. Oops. That's not what I made. Imprinting the stone. To do this with a normal, not underdeveloped ammonite. So the key is below this point the ammonite really is over here. And then it has like these things. And then the ribs that are there, it has over here on top of this portion. And then it like goes to its normal height over in this back region. Like it, in the off of the image, it goes from this thickness up to this thickness. Back to around here. So that it's normal there, so that this region of the ammonite has these paths up on top of the ammonite. It has them over here, demonstrating it is the top of the ammonite, and yet it has these up here, demonstrating it is the top of the ammonite, but this ammonite cannot do this. Because it's not broken. Like, if we look at the actual thing, like, that is its boundary. That's the top here. It genuinely goes up on the side. Like if we look here, the central portion of the ammonite is doing what ammonites tend to do, have like a stable little rib in the central region where current flowed. But in this case, it actually buckles downward and moves itself. So we can even see the structure changes here, demonstrating this is not like a broken shell that like only a piece is there, because it has the top. The shell itself actually changes shape here, and yet it doesn't have the actual features to reach over here. Like whatever this is, maybe has some ammonite features, but the thing is also down here, like this is one of these. Like it is this shape. It is a whole, is the point. It's not a half. It's not like just the bottom half of this shape. It is a whole in and of itself that has been shaped from a previous whole, that essentially these paths, an eddy of water and the matrix material itself, and pyrite, which is pyrite, black shale, quartz, and other materials, an eddy formed there that concentrated these materials, but the water occupied the space and shaped the materials. And then the eddy had it like actually had currents going around it. So it's going like in an eddy like here, but inward and then like out over the top the layers and below the layers of the eddy, and creating an ammonite basically, so that it creates these ribs up here. So it has this boundary that it formed, but then something happened in the process where pressure was applied here while the process was still underway. So there's still an eddy in here, but then there was this weird anomalous pressure here, probably another Shaligram, and it pushed down. That was being pushed into it by other pressures overall, but it pushed down to a point where it actually caused the eddy in just this region pinched down enough that it formed a new lobe down here in this area, like stably, to a point where it shaped the pre-existing ammonite material, like eroded it so that this like upper portion is now, and pushed it in, is now just like a flap overlaying the new ammonite segment, but it still has the definition back here of the full-blown ammonite, like throughout, clearly, in spite of this, what modern science would maybe call a mutation, because it's in the middle. It doesn't even make sense, because from out here, it's not like the end is just tapered, because the end is over here. This is actually internal, spiraling into the center. So this thing would spiral in, have a weird lumpy indentation region that then goes back to normal the rest of the way, which maybe would be a mutation, but then it wouldn't imprint this. And it's not like it just like flexed and broke. Because it's shaped in a full-blown ammonite way. Like there's no flexing and breaking here. It's more like it took what was, eroded away what it didn't need, and retained the newer structure, smaller structure, as well as some other portions of the old structure, as some overlaying flap that kind of blocked currents from flowing out that way, and made them instead flow out this way down here, which is why the ribs formed on this segment, making it a ammonite structure. Essentially, like current flowing this way, that would have eroded around the boundary of a mass, was pushed down this way and through here, and then into the same place, because it goes out and back in, out into pressure and back in, and spirals. And flows in the eddy. I guess it ramps off of this and freaking goes into this region. At times, at least. Maybe it runs into it and divides. Some going inward, some going outward, back this way around the lobe. I don't know. Some going into this, etching the suture patterns as cross currents of the eddy that are actually swirling, not just flowing along these ribs, are interacting with the rib currents, all which are probably essentially one flow, interweaving. But I didn't really mean to talk about this. I just thought I'd talk about Shaligrams, because I've been kind of just pondering, I guess. Just to ponder, and I thought I'd look around without any particular, like something in my recent episodes I've been talking about is this tendency for them to have like two halves, an elongated shalogram that has two halves that tend to have some kind of like divide. This one's not as pronounced, but it does have an ammonite and an ammonite down on these two ends. Very curious. We'll come to some more similar but better examples. I really want this one. I might get this one next. Another proof. It's just another proof. It's another proof because it was forming an ammonite. Like here's a chakra, so the ammonite should be pushing down on the surface, imprinting into this matrix. However, there's another ammonite perpendicular. That's just right here. The bottom boundary much more defined. There. And then across here too. And then this even has this thing that goes up and... like, this isn't the features of an ammonite here. It's the features of an ammonite. Like, if this first ammonite is at this angle, then it's kind of maybe not perpendicular, but like something like that. But it would be where, like, this one has a chakra. Let's say, like, here. Whereas this one down here has a chakras that are, like, very close to the over here, so that for that to make sense, like, essentially the actual ammonite, let's say, is red, that would have a shell, let's say, like this, as a cross section of the spiral, with the spiraling in here. And then this one, though, would generally have lobe, so that would mean we would be looking at a cross section here of something that's like this way. In order to get these features, or it's just happenstance, but it's so defined and distinctly looks like a chakra, and that's how they are. That's just how they are all the time. It's not really debatable. And like the Shaligram reality, the reality of Shaligrams is not debatable. It's debatable if people are just not aware of Shaligrams, but once the details are like, and it's just observed, it becomes clear. These things, like, this is truly a ammonite forming, and it's really not this ammonite because it's just not correct. It's below it, and it's like off center. If it were to be this ammonite, it would have to be essentially in the same plane, but it's not. Okay. But I was just kind of looking through, like, maybe there's some really some good ones to draw from. I know I keep coming across. Ear pain is like fucking ridiculous. Out of nowhere. I was fine most of the day. What the fuck? This vendor. There it is. This Shaligram. Been thinking a lot about this Shaligram, so I thought, like, really my target was maybe to get to this Shaligram. It's incredible. I look at it a lot because that's all I can do is look at these images of it. I certainly cannot obtain it in any way. It's but I look at these images all the time, and even if it sells, the images will still be accessible, and I have them as well, but they're accessible. And it's got such cool features. I was thinking about it, like, a lot of different ways than I previously have. trying to actually figure out, first of all, like, where are these sides? What is that? What is even going on? Because if we look at like this angle, where are we looking? Is it? I realize this is the bottom. Like on the opposite side to this face is this face. Some reason I didn't realize that in the past. I think I thought one of these was the bottom and one was the top, but now I realize they're both the same surface. This here is over there, and then this here is over here. So it's very strange seeing it at this angle. It's got kind of like a flat edge, no like apparent protrusion, although maybe it goes in a lot more than it looks. Like it looks like it kind of just flows over there, but maybe it hides a lot of detail. But it doesn't really look like it's looking here. Like it's this huge area. It's kind of strange how from this angle it kind of has like a certain shape to it, which looks almost like one of these. Like, basically, if this is an ammonite, then these are chambers, effectively, like chambers forming in the process as the currents are dividing the stone, really, into chambers. And I'm like, this, mind you, this Shaligram is $4,000. It's fucking huge. This thing's huge. Let's see if we can find how big it is. I don't know. 11 inches by 9 inches. So it's already huge. Let's say, I don't know, 8 inches in the ammonite itself. But like this is ammonite too. So really the whole thing is ammonite. So it's already like a huge ammonite. But then it's just like kind of like a chunk of another ammonite. I guess it's a chunk of itself. There's so many things. It's hard to put it back together, and maybe I can just go into details since I'm kind of assuming people are acquainted with anything here. Some things I'm noticing distributed in really amazing ways. I guess it. Sometimes I'm like, is it gold? It's so amazing. Like, what if it was gold? Would it be incredible? I mean, it seems pyrite though. But it's so concentrated in this freaking thing. Like, wow. But then there's lines here that also seem like right here going diagonally, but then still at like the same angle, but back further in the structure basically, and wrapping around maybe with some kind of like region, maybe where current was like wrapping around, running into this and going up and across and in there and wrapping around. Wow, the detail on this chakra. Oh, wow. What a Shaligram. Oh, my lord. It's almost like mostly pyrite slash gold. It looks so gold, this thing. Whoa. Little chamber. And not, little eddy centers, I guess. And then this shape is really curious. Like, what the fuck? It's just not. Maybe there's a quadrant there, quadrant there. Maybe there's a quadrant there, quadrant there, quadrant there. Maybe a quadrant there that has like a center thing. Maybe like, and then over here, like another one that is going on more related to like there even. That center thing, maybe. But where, like, if conditions were appropriate, this here and around here would have gotten more defined and become its own ammonite. It could have, like, on the back of the ammonite, spawn this other ammonite from the structure of the first ammonite. Like maybe even seeing it there. Like this angle. And then with this boundary generally across here, and then up there. Like it, and then if we just look at the opposite side, maybe here, like something in there, like it's pseudo creating a ammonite at a higher energy level that could have, theoretically, even looks like it had an inner thing. It could have like continued inward and created chakras. But it seems like it didn't, at least, because probably this system dominated, like the flow was going down through to go through the chakra, because that's generally what's happening. Down actually through it, not on the outside here, but through the chakra from top to bottom down the drain, and then fanning out like in resistance, and doing so at like different energy levels of resistance. Which then like cycles basically internally and around it here. But it goes through the chakra, so that would have probably prevented this from like eroding in, because this flow is trying to go through. So it was probably more potent. So this just subtly formed in the top, but because it's a large ammonite, a large shaligram, it has the like subtle but pronounced elements of an ammonite in the ammonite, but subtly enough that it's not like proof in that regard. It could be debated. Well, that's just how ammonites are at the end. This thing on the other side, if I maybe find some dendrites like this, I need to find some good ones. Bigger than those ones. I just saw some, but they were too like subtle. I need maybe here. Here we go. Here we go. Like this. Like this. This. That's weird. Like, why is there a relatively dendritic looking thing really, like, just off the side? It's not... like having a counterpart, and then the ammonite is actually just right off the side. Kind of like if the ammonite were to be somewhere closer, like say literally to start forming here, like a eddy's going on out here, and then as the current goes here, it goes in and it eddies here and just like erodes, cuts like a section around this eddy and takes this chunk out from the matrix of the ammonite. I just removes it. It would, and basically shapes it as like this eddy's dominant is the dominant system there, so that it really reshapes it to its nature. Maybe it would retain some of the elements of the original stone. I'm thinking that might be what's going on here, is that like this down here just really reminds me of that thing, like the dendrite. If I go to where is it? Dendrites. That was a good one, but I don't know where the thing I'm looking for might be. Oh, my ear. Oh yeah, damn it, Arcane, probably. Here we go. Here we go. This at least. Kind of see one up there. This. Is this kind of like bump tooth thing, which and there, like the structure in the local terrain is quite similar. That's the land of Shaligrams down where these are found. Damn it, Arcane area. So my thought is, I suspect this was once a chamber, which goes back to its shape is kind of odd. So that, like, even in spite of that it's like a single ammonite, it was once a chamber of another ammonite. And in spite of it being 11 by 9 inches by whatever, something like that in another dimension, in spite of that, it was still just a chamber in another ammonite, even larger. Although its features may not have been that apparent. I was thinking maybe like that's part of what's going on here. Like if we think of a lobe as having this shape here. And like a lobe having that general shape. That then also has characteristics to it, like over here. It has an indentation region. Generally, it tends to have indentation regions in like these 4 quadrants, and then dendrites in the other 4 regions. Did someone say protons and neutrons? Sacre bleu. Definitely. Okay, but point is, there's that shape. General shape. I find this interesting. Over here, looking from this angle, we see this here. Maybe and then we see this section that goes up and generally across and then back down and then across here. And then here it kind of looks like it maybe like essentially going over to some boundary over here maybe. And then also having like a larger boundary out further, doing maybe a similar thing. So the idea would be maybe like this is a lobe this way, like a nucleus region of an earlier ammonite would be. How do I? Would be like over towards this area and then with a lobe out this way potentially. I'm just thinking like maybe an aspect of it forming is that there's a larger eddy that this chamber is part of is related to this having a weird lobe-like shape this way. I don't know if it's just the angle. Like this thing really makes me think of like a certain type of lobe I've seen. There's a good one like this. I'm not sure if that one actually, and with like boundary over here. Sometimes this boundary, maybe I'm thinking the other way. I don't know. I thought maybe that one would relate more to a potential ammonite as another like thing going on. Because we do see like this shape is much more down here, which is the front down here, including that dendrite shape, the dendrite shape. We do tend to see ammonites take that kind of like wavy shape at its end. I don't know if I got any particularly good examples. I mean, I must. If they do it, I must. I feel like I'm seeing currents. It's so boring streaming by myself always. Like, man, I suck. Here we go. A little more defined, like in out kind of shape. Just a waviness that includes a dendritic shape. So it does have that element to this just general shape here that it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to have that shape. That's not the ammonite shape that, like, this ammonite. It's not its shape. Because it would, if there was such a shell, it would spiral out in. So it wouldn't really relate to this boundary, but this boundary is extremely common shaped waviness in shaligrams, in actual ammonites, including having a dendrite like that. So that gives me the impression this shaligram, on top of being just incredible as a single ammonite interpretation, is a chunk of another one. And it really says so by its details. In a way that's maybe harder to decipher. I don't know why it's so prevalent in pyrite, although this is interesting. Like, where it is, there are occasional, like, erosion gouges, like this cuts, but with structure to it that, like, follow it. So it seems like whatever was flowing with this at times eroded it instead. Oh Lord. Good old man, it's fucking weird. The bottom still can see that waviness. Wow. This shower really looks like a head, like a brain. So in order for it to do that, there's just gotta be a larger probably even larger than I'm drawing. Almost certainly, like something significantly larger, so that this is just a dendrite, possibly a small portion of it, like this thing here is equivalent to this over time, where then around it is eroded, so that the whole of this rock is just like a small section of another rock that was being eroded, another matrix material that was being eroded. That was significantly larger ammonite structure happening, but it had instability, essentially. It wasn't like a stable structure that way. So it broke down into smaller eddies, at least this portion, and this then formed as a result. And we're just not like aware of the details to realize that there's things of that nature at play with their characteristics. You kind of see like a circle here with the larger one maybe around it, or general area where it seems maybe current flowed into. Maybe it just flowed this way. Went up there. Eddied. Actually, like it would make sense if there was a ammonite type thing forming generally here that wrapped back around this way. That was like pseudo forming, that it would kind of hold a pressure so that potentially current flows going this way and like up this way that seemed to have wanted to follow a general boundary here. They maybe swirled here, like here instead, and vented off that way. Or something with the flows there from, so as to just not be able to erode this sharp boundary like that, like doing down here. It really eroded between the two segments of the stone to really define the boundary of the ammonite. Over here, the boundary is not defined, but it's enough defined that we can kind of see. But it's not separate. Oh. So if there's a dendrite. Just incredible. Okay. I was just kind of looking through there. Oh yeah, I just saw so many things. That's fucking. Ay. This right here, this Shaligram, it reminds me. Basically, like it forms a lobe, goes down, and just forming this structure. It's going down over, but then it's reaching matrix material, so it's kind of all on one side. And this is kind of odd. Like it looks like it was here. Like something was going on in this area. It looks like specifically to like that corner, and then it moved maybe to like a chakra here, but without like eroding in very much, and then erode it in further to new chakras here. This is my thought on maybe how it went to do more on one side. But where like initially there was chakras forming like in this area, and then maybe in this area, like maybe something across there that's gone now. And then here, and now it's here, just slowly eroding the structure, removing material where it could potentially form another chakra, like down somewhere maybe there off of it. Essentially where like its new chakra target is in that area. So it's moving where it is over and reshaping based on that to like cut out this material here and cut out this material and then etc. In this case, it's not necessarily doing that. I just had that thought when I saw it because of some other shaligrams that I was looking at that we'll probably run into similar ones, so it was worth at least mentioning the concept. Talked about that one a lot back there. Definitely some really cool shaligrams. Belt around the equator. Literally like a miniature planet. Some really defined dendrites. So my thought is like, how is this happening in the midst of like a lobe? It would make sense if it kind of spawned off of some things of this nature. Kind of incredible how this is like peeling back its inner layers. It just looks like it has like a seed of a planet inside. I don't know if I've looked at all of these. Some of them, if they look like basic, I haven't really looked. This one only has one image. Like this one I've never looked at, but I immediately notice some like weird details in its ribs. Like it's clearly eroded and not imprinted by an actual shell. Freaking out of the like the boundaries up here. Oh my god. Oh my. I feel like there's like a spiral there. So it's like goes this way and it tries to go back this way to finish the next lobe. But then it goes further and around it goes back that way. Like anomalous. And then over on this end, it seems like this end is kind of forming a chakra. Oh no, there it is. Wow. Wow. flows right from it though, like flow going this way across and along the top, probably down and across that way, and just more around that way. Some kind of relationship to this for sure. Lots of cool surface details. Okay. Another one that's probably a chunk of a larger ammonite that just has a bunch of weird features on it. Larger ammonite in a Shaligram setting, but like a larger ammonite chunk thereof. One might be a little more elongated than some of the others. It's got like a greatest width area around here. And it's relatively like pole to pole, so like a equatorial belt region. On one side is this ammonite, on the other is whatever's going on there. Although it seems to have all this stuff, so I don't know if that's really reasonable in this case, but maybe there's something to be drawn. Wow, what the freak is going on there? Oh, my ear. Oh. If I take my hat off, I gotta like wear my glasses outside my ear. Oh, it's fucking hurts. Oh. Sometimes if I just like flex the living crap out of it beyond the pain, like through the pain kind of subsides somehow. Like what the fuck? Probably not the best idea. Oh my god, my ear. Okay. Here's one that's dividing in half. It has two halves, I guess. Like it has an ammonite over here. So if we look from this top angle, I thought this was interesting. Here, it kind of just looks like typical Shaligram. This ammonite lobe, it just kind of flows around here, but it's not. Like this is the one on the side. This one flows to the front here. But this one's on the side that look kind of like it might flow from this one. So like two different ones, but it's kind of squeezed in there. And then like kind of pushing up this boundary over here. Strongly suggestive that it's like pushing the boundary up by squeezing under here, but being an eddy so as to still be generally rigid in that way. So as to push the boundaries up and shape the stone with this weird little hook on the end. Oh, my ear. I might leave pretty soon. It's kind of freaking lame. Randomly, too. This one's kind of dividing in half. one side is one ammonite, and it's pretty much to this like equatorial belt region again. And then the stone is like being cut by the currents to be divided, I guess. In these ways here. Like, this is incredible. If you saw this already, then you probably noticed it's incredible. What is happening? Holy shit. So this is a good example of literally what we were just looking at with that other one where it's got the ammonite. Whose lobes go like this. Like its structure is here. Inclusive of this piece in here. And it seems to then go back and around this chunk. Maybe it goes down there, I'm not sure. Seems to. So as to just, there's the ammonite. But then there's this here. That seems really related to that. That's not the ammonite though. And then there's this there. And then over here, like what the fuck is going on, dudes? And then if we follow this path right here, if we just follow it, what do we find but a boundary? That seems to point to maybe that boundary too. Another boundary here, pointing to that. And then this weird path weaving through here. Goes up that way too. Notice this. Notice this shape right here. We saw that on that one Shaligram. I think it's on this page, this one. We saw that shape right here. Right here. In this internal ammonite. We saw that weird thing going on. That seems to be just kind of imprinted there in the lobe. Suggestive that there is a current flow relationship to this structure in the lobe and then that structure in the other lobe, and therefore that is a lobe, and therefore it makes no damn sense, and ammonites are not fossils. Here's another example, because this one's freaking basically spiraling inward in a different plane and then getting to a central region. Maybe this way. Like going up and in this way. And around along the surface. Maybe a boundary in this area then. Maybe a divide area too. Where like stuff to this side goes over this way. Stuff to this side goes more out this way, maybe. While creating an eddy. And an eddy. And an eddy. And an eddy probably somewhere else. else and smaller ones in there. But then goes this way. And he runs into this current, so it kind of goes up that way. It goes in, and then goes in, and then goes around, and around, and around, until it reaches maybe right here. At which point it more so eddies in and starts to go in a different plane. So it goes into the stone, like drills in, and then it runs into the stone, at which point, like the stone is being cut into, and there's a pressure. So as it goes into that pressure, it bends and pressure. But say pressure left, pressure right, pressure left greater than pressure right. And then this one also greater than pressure right. So that like the optimal path is to then go this way. At which point it runs into this pressure more and more, which then changes it. So pressure right is actually, and all others are greater than like the forward pressure. So it actually ends up coming back. At which point it just kind of completes an eddy. And the reason the forward is because it's completing an eddy. Like once it creates an eddy, it then is able to flow back that way with less resistance. Ultimately, though, a result of path of least resistance leading to all these things in the pressures of the flow, because there's pressures at play that are directing these currents so that it flowed in an eddy that was like big enough to have boundaries in the stone, and then like etch boundaries, and then eroded into it, vented this way, this way, this way, this way, all while just like flowing inward, around, through here, and then back into the here, basically, to start to shape it. So going in here, in through here, like around the eddies, in through there. I presume, I guess. I might be going too far in terms of the in and out on that regard. I'm just kind of following the path. I don't know that it was definitely what's going on, but this one's got so many, like, wow, features to that Shaligram, or to that ammonite. It's that one. I don't know if we can see it any better than this. Like the other images, this one obviously, but besides that one, I don't think there's other images of it, like more directly. Seems to be the secondary focus to this ammonite in the pictures. But it's got incredible surrounding details. Looks like maybe a path through there. That's it related to over there. So something's going on. Interacting with the other ammonite for sure. Okay, that one's incredible. these types of things, I need to somehow put it all together. Maybe I should like spend a few months just watching my Shaligram videos and compiling important details I realized without having to think so much, and anything that comes to mind, and then really I need to write a freaking book. I just need to. It's a pain in the ass too, especially if it gets long, but I got to. I just don't know what the fuck to do. Specifically, like I could write anything. I could write about this Shaligram, that Shaligram, any Shaligram. And what's enough specificity? What's enough detail for any given concept? How many concepts? What concepts? What concepts? Wow. Here's another one. Wow. With like surrounding. Here's a line, here's one. So we almost, just from this line, can like strongly suppose there's probably a relationship from this line to this line over here, and this line over here, and this angle is probably like related across here, and probably over here too, generally related in some way, like more boundaries. Maybe this is another boundary that's actually cut out here relating to that one, so that there's a like presence of an eddy that even looks like it has like a mass here that then spirals inward and around, but instead of cutting in, it actually runs into it more and is just subtle. Whereas an ammonite would cut in and spiral in more defined. Kind of like how this makes no damn sense. Like here's chakras. Oh my god, this thing. Only currents can do such a thing. Not fossils. Fossils can do no such thing. Arbitrarily take freaking like kid drawing shapes. This looks like a drawing. Does not look like a fossil because currents etched its surface in weird ways. Incredibly. Wow, the chakra has so much more like sparkliness because the black shale is removed because it drained through the chakra more. So it's just more shininess of the pyrite and maybe quartz. Wow. Is that the same one? Second opening. Yep. It's got little patchy things to it too. Is this thing sold? It's in stock. Oh, that's not a bad price. Oh shit, it's got a video too. You can really see this. Let's check out the video. Probably looked at this before. I really need to remember to turn that off. Not killing the freaking battery or the motor. It's very blurry. It's usually good. I don't know. This one, I guess, was the lower quality. Almost pointless. Really incredible. So the structure goes up here Oh my. So we can see ribs, and then we can see that the ribs that surround this ammonite are up here, and then just take this fucking nonsense shape that shouldn't be. It just shouldn't be. Shouldn't be. Is why? Because currents, not fossils. And then it kind of shows what's happening too. Where it could have like done it again off of this side, kind of like here. It could have done it again, not to here, but past it, like treating it like this, where it goes past it. Kind of goes like that, and then like maybe forms more of an ammonite to this area too, more defined in this area. But or actually maybe it makes this whole thing more like this side. And then based on this side, maybe would have gone over there. And then eroded like this shape into here more, which it was already doing somewhat. But just, I guess along that angle or something. Just based on the angle there. Or actually, it would have probably eroded the further one more straight off of here. To this boundary, though. And then an outer boundary, though, forming out beyond this all. That's kind of just encompassing it. And then it could again do it. And then define like a larger ammonite within it, I guess. Even further, etc. But it just did it here and here. This one looks like it has some drill holes. Makes perfect sense. Nothing to be concerned about. We did it, guys. We figured out science. Don't worry, guys. Nothing to be concerned about. We figured it out. They're sea creatures. Simple. We did it. Okay, guys. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah. Sea creatures. Yeah, they lived in the sea. And they were creatures. Shallow waters. What more do you want? Sea creatures. We did it. We did it. Look, don't you rain on our parade there, little one. Shoot, wait, what you think you're coming up in here talking all this jibber jabber? Better get back in line. You done did looked at that one. What you forgot, little man? Oh, little man done did forgot what he looked at. What you got, a little bit of a memory problem there, little man? Trying to tell me what is with memory problem. Oh, I see you, little man. Shoot. Those vision patterns. Go them curves, girl. Oh my god. I don't know if I ever noticed this. It's got a lobe here, which I notice. Lobe. It's kind of goes this way, etc. But if we really just pay attention to this top one, and then go down and follow it over, generally over, down, over, down, over, down, over, up, over, up, over, up, over, up, over, up. It's kind of forming a chakra in this area. With like off of a lobe, like this is a lobe out this way, and like a chakra, maybe across here, across there-ish, based on these lines down here, the edge of the pyrite, basically. Maybe even like this circle thing, looking kind of like a erosional region that reminded me of like this right here, even. Literally the same stone. Circle, so circular, so clearly eroded. This one's also incredible. Oh my. Oh my. So many cool things going on. Like little ribs. Like these gold specks are clearly in like paths between rows of shale. Okay, incredible. That one's pricey. I was like, is that available? Not for you, young man. Maybe if you get your grades up. After all the... I almost want to buy this. 55 shaligrams. 55. I don't care if they're just kind of basic. They might be like, might have some cool features. Probably be expensive as fuck to ship. Dude, you want me to ship 55 rocks? How much does this weigh? It probably says weight. Combined weight 100 grams. That doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Probably just didn't put it. This is another one that proves they're not fossils. Where this path goes all the way around the rock. But not taking the shapes of an ammonite, really. Just on the rock. On the rock itself, because it's an equatorial current that was flowing around the rock that was actually flowing in that pattern. Between the pressures, pushing out boundaries where it can, pushing out boundaries where it can from like northern and southern currents. There's a freaking another one there just being subtly eroded. And then a top one being eroded at the pole, around the pole. So it's like spawning related to the pole. Several like that, where it's not just a chunk of ammonite, it's a ammonite feature that just formed by itself on a rock without the full-blown ammonite being present, but just like the conditions were present for long enough that it was stable enough that it formed it. Okay, so what else we got on here? This one looks cool. Another one that's two that are kind of like slightly off one another. Oops, I forgot I was just clicking them. That also looks kind of dendritic. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know in this case. I was just thinking from the other one. I don't see any. I don't know. Okay. That's right. I'll open this one that way. Again, just eroding like weird. It's not really the shape of an ammonite. It's just kind of pseudo ammonite. It's doing it. It's just not truly doing it. Like over here, it's sliced. So it just looks more like the actual ammonite shape. Over here, just didn't do it quite enough, but it still went out that way and made a path. And then this path seems to go connect to that. Can really see like an ammonite lobe over here, like wrapping around that way. Where like a chakra center is maybe underneath here kind of thing somewhere. Hard to say exactly. It's just subtle. It's so subtle in the stone though. Another one that's just not forming a normal ammonite shape off of it, but forming off of it. This is for sure one that I have in the past interpreted to have an eddy on one end, a divide. Wait, is it? I guess it's mostly the other ammonite, and then this one. Something interesting going on there. Like we can see ribs. Ammonite features, but not. Wow. I just noticed. I never really looked at that feature. Up here, it kind of looks like a chakra right there. Going up, over, and then up, over. Like a right there. That then just went out of hand. So there's rib features like related to it, but then there's whatever's going on there, and then there's this like tube. One of these ribs that's like crossed over and over looking thing in there. very reminiscent of the Shaligram. I really would like to know if it's real. It's probably this one. Very reminiscent of this thing in there. Long, but then cross structures. And then kind of generally where chakras seem to have been. If there was such a thing, I really don't know that this is real. It's such a weird stone. I don't see how it could not be based on its features. Its outer surface is concerningly, like, is this real? But it might just be because of how weird it is in general that it actually looks a little different in some ways, but it's still real. I just don't know. This to me is hard to interpret. It's just not quite like say this. This is clearly impossible for someone to make. This is like especially like that. It's so strange. But it could just be related to the process in the stone, I don't know. Like this it just doesn't even make sense why anyone would do it if it wasn't real. Like what would someone envision or use as a template to do this if not an ammonite? And this is no ammonite structure. This is some weird broken down decay product of some weird it's just not an ammonite any longer, at least. Maybe it has some ammonite characteristics at some point along the way if it was real, but like I don't know that this video had to have been there. Don't know if this video was there. Oh my. I look at this so many times. Other products are a little expensive to the point where it's like, is this real? But then like this is $450. That looks worth $450. This looks maybe worth $350. This looks maybe worth $700. I don't know. Maybe it's a little small, whatever this is. It's not slag. What are you doing selling slag for $700? This ain't no slag. I mean, that looks fucking worth it. If you're selling that, I just don't know how this could possibly be. It claims they're meteors as part of why they're expensive. Large. Wow. Like, what the fuck? That looks pretty cool. Wow. 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 Ooh. I wonder if if he does that in the video. And then, cha. Oh damn. I guess not. Wow, that looks incredible. Looks like a mushroom or something. From underneath. From underneath! Someone's like, no, it doesn't. I'm like, alright. Whatever, dude. I'm over it. I mean, whatever they're selling is cool as fuck. I don't know that it's worth it. The prices. But maybe. But then amongst it is that Shaligram. Like, what the fuck is up with this Shaligram? I almost want to message him and be like, can you tell me how you came across this Shaligram? Like, what the fuck is up with this Shaligram? Jaipur, India. See what that is. There's the Taj Mahal. Freaking, I feel like they mess with Google Earth too much. Like, what the fuck is this? Why is this a thing? No, I got an untitled project just to fucking look at the Earth. And it's not full screen, even if I do this. Like, I got all this bullshit. Oh, there we go. Okay. There we go. There we go. Seems a lot of Shaligrams are make their way in this area. I'm just basing on a couple of vendors. So Mangalam Jewelry is sending me a Dwarka Sheila. Here's a Dwarka Sheila with the Shaligram I ordered. This, I'm very excited to see. That one and a Narmada Sheila. A Narmada Sheila. I didn't know this. Narmada Lingam stones are sacred stones found or from the Narmada River. They are made of cryptocrystalline quartz and are said to have the highest vibration of any stone on Earth. Wow. Wow. Let's go to YouTube though. Narmada River. to see them finding one.
ओम नमः शिवाय, हर हर महादेव। तो हम आए हैं नेचुरल नर्मदेश्वर शिवलिंग की खोज में। देख सकते हो आप।
So we've come, you see, and search
कुछ इस तरह से स्वयंभू
how self-created Shivalings are searched. Self-created shape. I thought they were like this shape. I think they seem to all be in this shape. This
ओम नमः शिवाय नर्मदे हर
says to be a natural
जिनके अंदर कुदरती
Shivaling, like a form like this in this shape.
निर्मित है इन शिवलिंग के साथ में यह 18
Created an amazing and beautiful way by nature.
जलाधारी भी उपलब्ध है। ऐसे अद्भुत और सुंदर नर्मदेश्वर शिवलिंग देखने के लिए हमारे साथ बने रहिए। ओम नमः शिवाय नर्मदे हर ये 9 इंच के जनेऊधारी नर्मदेश्वर शिवलिंग है जिनके अंदर कुदरती रूप से बहुत ही अद्भुत और सुंदर रूप से जनेऊ मालाओं की आकृति निर्मित है। इन शिवलिंग के साथ में यह 18 इंच की शक्ति जलाधारी भी उपलब्ध है। ऐसे अद्भुत और सुंदर नर्मदेश्वर शिवलिंग देखने के लिए हमारे साथ बने रहिए। ओम नमः शिवाय
Makes me think of like purifying drinking water to make it healthy or something.
नमस्कार मैं सोहन
I want to see someone finding some.
शिवलिंग बहकर एक अद्भुत एवं सुंदर
So they must take these and shape them frequently in some kind of tumbler to make them red or something, rotating thing.
छोटे एवं बड़े साइज के नर्मदेश्वर शिवलिंग सभी में कुछ न कुछ सुंदर एवं अद्भुत उसके दिया जाता है।
Wow. Oh my god, those stones are huge. Be incredible to go search there.
आप सभी देख सकते हैं
And in the Gandaki River.
सभी शिवलिंग में
Oh my.
प्रकृति
Hey,
ने
boy.
किसी चीज का निर्माण किया हुआ है। जैसे कि
Hey,
अगर आप ध्यान से देख पाएंगे
hey,
तो इन शिवलिंग के अंदर
let's see.
आकृति बनी हुई है।
Damn.
ये देखिए
They must be taking things like this,
प्राकृतिक बनी गई है।
shaping them. I thought they might be shaped like
कुछ न कुछ आकृतियां बनी हुई होती है।
that was flat. That's more like I was expecting them to be.
ये देखिए किस प्रकार से अर्धनारीश्वर शिवलिंग का निर्माण होता है।
Like, man, was I muted this whole time?
दो अलग-अलग रंगों का मिलन है।
Wow, the water.
ये देखिए
Whoa.
स्वयंभू
There it is.
शिवलिंग ऐसे ही अद्भुत एवं सुंदर नर्मदेश्वर
Wow.
शिवलिंग के वीडियो देखने के लिए हमारे साथ बने रहिए। धन्यवाद। ये देखिए किस प्रकार से अर्धनारीश्वर शिवलिंग का निर्माण होता है। इसमें दो अलग-अलग रंगों का मिलन है। ये देखिए नेचुरल स्वयंभू नर्मदेश्वर शिवलिंग।
It might have been for sale or something. Method to sell the one that was shaped. I don't know.
Live from New York.
नमस्कार साथियों, मैं आपका अपना दोस्त जगदीश केवट ग्राम बकावा से शिवम वास्तुकला में आपका हार्दिक हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं। आज हम
Okay, I guess we should listen. Hardy, welcome you to the Kevalgram Bakwas and architecture. Today we are on the banks of the Narmada for sea excavation. See, our customer has asked us to find such a Shivaling, which can be extracted with a little solution, but it should not be cut by a machine, and such are spread by self-created Shivlingas. And see, we have collected here a red Shivlinga. This is one is also the shape. This one is also self. Like, is itself the shape? Self-created. There's no need to cut it with a machine and make it a Shivaling. It is a Shivaling in itself. Wow. Single drop in the blah blah blah. We have receded like that. There are many Shakli, which is this white Shivaling. Red colored, yellow color. The color is such that we have found countless self-created Shivlingas. All of them are self-created. You can see this also, that all of these are self-created. These are of white color, which is very nice. You can see it as of cream color. Dust color, again, it is completely round and all are complete. From a distance, the Shivaling is smooth. The entire Shivaling, there is no scratches anywhere on it, as if it was done by hand, but it's completely natural. It is self-created. You can see it, and I will show you many Shivalingas right about all these self-created Shivalingas. This is sometimes found in such Shivalings. How can we find any shape like Om shape from shapes are all such shapes are also found, but this Shivaling is self-created, and the self-created Shivaling is the most powerful. Om Nama Shive.
Perfecting your swing is hard.
So that's the Narmada, which I don't have any of, but they're found in the Narmada River, which I think is this. Is this the Narmada River? If Yep. Which is very important to my research. Like, here's Gurnar. Here's where the Doom shape moved through the area and went to informing Gurnar. See my research. Where the heck is it anymore? Getting kind of tired. I should probably stop. What's in this one? Oh, there. I thought it was other than those. What's in this one that I always... Oh my god, where did I put them? It's gotta be anywhere. Here we go. At least something. Good enough. Currents labeled, I guess that one. Where the doom shape went through. See, what the Earth's undercurrents video that I made called Earth's Undercurrents for more details. Here's where Dwarka's Sheilas are from. Like right in this area. Right along this path. So imagine there's a eddy centered on at these chakras, forming a literal like ammonite shape that then ejects current this way, because basically what's happening is it's trying to get out this way, but there's stuff in the way and it can't go the other ways, so it goes through this way and cuts through by forming an eddy this way that then swirls and like cuts the path through, but not without forming Dwarka Sheila over here at the far end of this process. Whereas down here, as the doom shape moves from up here where it's forming Dwarka Sheila down this way, then it's at this point emitting energy into Gurnar, and opposite there is Narmada River over here, so it's like it's kind of equal opposite force is being emitted into eastward as it's literally participating in forming the Deccan traps, fanning out this way. And as it's forming the Deccan traps, it's forming these Narmada stones, Shivalings, that are the most energetic stones on Earth, supposedly, according to some interpretations, which is pretty interesting to hear. Certainly that's like a common thing said about a lot of things, but when it comes to these kind of like the Hindu related Indian stones that are like sacred and worshipped, like there's a reason. Okay. Say Deccan Traps map. I could formed the bird head of Sarastra and then formed over here. But through Narmada River as a pivotal aspect of the process, that current path is where current flowed. So it assuredly is why the stones have some strange shapes. Okay, dudes, I gotta go. I'm fucking tired. Peace out. Thanks for hanging. See you next time. Till then, I guess I'll do a little outro. Peace. Outro. can still hear me. Peace out. Peace outro. Thanks, guys.